It was the kind of invention people used to dream about in science fiction, the kind of idea that belonged to impossible futures. And then one day, almost without warning, it became real. The first public teleportation, a man stepping into a shimmering doorway in New York and appearing instantly in Tokyo, was broadcast to the entire world. The technology was called the Arcway, and it wasn't magic. It was science, quantum entanglement, spatial folding, molecular mapping, words most people didn't understand but quickly learned to trust, because it worked. The world changed overnight. Distance vanished, airports closed, highways emptied, borders blurred. Within 5 years, every major city had Arcway stations, sleek silver archways that could send you anywhere on Earth in the time it took to blink. A businessman in Paris could have lunch in Cairo. A student in Nairobi could attend school in Buenos Aires. Even the idea of home began to shift, as people no longer needed to live where they worked or where they were born. Earth felt smaller, faster, closer. But nothing that powerful comes without cost. 17-year-old Mara had grown up in this new world. She barely remembered a time when travel took hours. Her parents told stories of long road trips, of flights across oceans, of the feeling of leaving one place and arriving in another through the gradual unfolding of time. Mara's generation had none of that. For her, teleportation wasn't magic, it was ordinary, expected, normal. And yet, something inside her always felt off. It started with the dreams. Small at first, flashes of places she had never been, moments she had never lived. She saw herself standing on cliffs she didn't recognize, walking streets of distant cities she'd never visited. She felt memories that weren't hers. The dreams became sharper every time she used the Arcway. Every jump left her slightly more disconnected, as if pieces of herself were scattering somewhere she couldn't reach. The first time she spoke about it, her friends laughed. Everyone had heard the old rumors, the urban legends that teleportation did something to the mind, that the person who stepped through the Arcway wasn't exactly the same person who came out the other side. Scientists dismissed it. No evidence, they said, pure nonsense. But Mara wasn't so sure. One night, restless and unable to sleep, she searched the dark corners of the old web. Hidden forums, abandoned message boards. That's where she found them, others like her. People who had started to remember things they never lived. People who saw faces they didn't know reflected in mirrors. People who whispered one terrible word, split. The theory was simple but terrifying. Every time a person teleported, their body was perfectly rebuilt at the destination. But what about the mind? What about the soul? If such a thing existed, the Arcways destroyed the original to create the copy. Each time someone jumped, they died, and something else woke up in their place. Identical but subtly, disturbingly new. Mara's dreams deepened into waking visions. She began to see double images, herself in different versions, wearing different clothes, in cities she hadn't visited. It wasn't just memory, it was as if the fabric of her identity was fraying. Every teleport unraveling her reality. She tried to stop, she avoided the Arcways, but in a world built on instant travel, isolation was impossible. Her school, her family, her life depended on teleportation. Refusing to jump meant becoming an outsider, a ghost. The breaking point came on her birthday. Her parents surprised her with a trip to the Arctic, a new luxury package where Arcways could now take travelers to remote ice fields in seconds. Mara smiled, pretended excitement, stepped through the shining gateway. And when she arrived, she felt it snap. For a moment, just a fraction of time, she saw herself, not in the mirror, not in reflection, standing opposite her. Another Mara, same face, same voice, but eyes that were wrong, empty. The other Mara smiled and then vanished. The moment passed, but Mara knew. She wasn't whole anymore. Desperate, she sought out the others from the hidden forums. They met in the abandoned parts of cities, in places untouched by Arcways. They spoke of the fragments, versions of themselves that existed now as echoes, copies made real by too many jumps. They shared stories of glitches, of missing memories, of waking in unfamiliar places with no idea how they had arrived. Some claimed that every teleport created a new universe. Others believed the mind fractured each time, leaving behind pieces too small to recover. But they all agreed on one thing: the more you used the Arcways, the less you stayed yourself. Mara made a choice. She left the cities, left the shimmering doors and silver gates. She walked, something her generation had forgotten how to do, step by step, across forests, rivers, mountains. It took her months. Her friends called her insane. Her parents begged her to return. But Mara felt herself healing. The visions faded, the memories stopped shifting. Her mind, fragile but whole, became her own again. The archways remained. The world raced ahead, but somewhere in the quiet wilds, Mara lived slowly, fully, with every step earned. She understood now, speed was not freedom, convenience was not life, and in the end, the fastest path is not always the one worth taking. And in her heart, she held the final truth: if every jump was a death, then she would choose life, even if it meant walking forever.